Hello again, and welcome to SEC Basketball Predictions. We are predicting every game for this weekend, as we always do within the SEC. Today, we will be talking about Missouri and Texas A&M. You can catch this one at 2:30 Central on the SEC Network. This game played in Columbia, Missouri. We already did Auburn and Florida in a separate video. Arkansas and who? Arkansas and Alabama getting its own video. The other five will be in one video. Anyway, back to where we were going with this one. Missouri and A&M. Max Barr, get us started off your initial analysis and what's important in this game.
Oh, boy. A top 15 matchup between the Aggies and the Tigers here. What else could you ask for? This one is going to be probably, for me personally, the toughest game to pick of the Saturday slate. I think this is two of the teams in the league that are just absolutely set in stone with what they're doing and what they're going to do to try to win, how they are going to win games. They both do some things extremely well at the best rate in the nation almost, and they also do some things extremely poorly. Talking about A&M's kind of their offensive percentages, however, that gets made up with by taking care of the rock a little bit more than they were in non-conference play, getting to the free throw line and grabbing extra opportunities, where Missouri getting to that free throw line, hitting those threes aplenty. However, really not much offense outside of those threes and those free throws. What are you guys seeing here?
Well, as I said on Wednesday night after the Tennessee-Missouri game, I said if you're Missouri, the one thing you don't like about this setup this week is that you have to go from playing Tennessee to Texas A&M, which you just want to talk about two physical teams that will kind of try to impose their style on you, which, you know, I think you could argue Missouri was still kind of the winner there in terms of the stylistic matchup against Tennessee. But yeah, like going from Tennessee to playing A&M and just knowing, again, the strengths of these two teams defensively, it's tough. But we also know that, like we said, A&M's resume has been tremendous this year. The percentages still, though, you look at them and you think, is this a team that is 17-5 or is this a team that's 5-17 when it comes to like the offensive percentages? It's just nuts, right? I mean, A&M is 279th in effective field goal percentage, 221 in turnover percentage, 286 in three-point percentage, 255 in two-point percentage, 295 in free throw percentage. What in the world? And yet they're 17-5. And so that's why when we talk about A&M, they're a team that just they're a rough matchup for anybody, just based on the way that they play and how they win. And we've always talked about getting to the free throw line. If you're looking for one thing this weekend that you feel like is about as guaranteed as it gets, the longest game on Saturday will be played in Columbia, Missouri, between two teams that get to the free throw line a lot. A&M, Missouri, give them 4 hours on the TV window, maybe.
Yeah, Blake, you mentioned some of the statistical stuff. If you look at the Ken Pom page where extremes are measured in green and red blocks, it looks like a Christmas tree exploded onto the page. When you look at the conference numbers, just the things that they're really poor at and the things that they're really good at. But I watched these two teams stylistically. I mean, this I think is one of the more interesting matchups of the year because both are old. Both have got a lot of guards. Look, I think Missouri the other night, guys, I did not come out any less impressed with Missouri going to Knoxville, losing that game by, 3 or 4 points. Tennessee shot the lights out. Missouri had a lot of things that didn't go well and still almost won that game, which I think is kind of telling about where they are. A&M, it can be up and down. The Wade Taylor variances, Zurich Phelps, I mean, those can be pretty wide. Some nights they shoot it well. Some nights they look awful. I think there's a very wide range of outcomes potentially in this game, Max.
Yeah, one angle that I'm kind of looking at, especially with the week off with A&M, how Solo Washington, because he's going to be a piece, trying to defend Mark Mitchell and the nonstop flow of subs that happens with Missouri. But when I was looking at that, I was like, okay, well, I know Missouri has one of the highest bench minute splits in the country. Texas A&M actually uses their bench more than Missouri.
Wow.
Which shocked me.
Yeah.
Missouri right now on the season is 20th in the nation with 41.3% bench minutes. Ole Miss is 16th with 41.6. Or not Ole Miss, sorry. Texas A&M. A&M has used their bench more when I would have said 10 times out of 10 Missouri's got the deeper bench. Maybe they do quality-wise, but minutes-wise, when you're looking at that A&M front court, and even when you're looking at kind of what they can do on the wings with who they rotate, they're just as deep. They're just as deep.
Well, listen, one of the ways you got to beat A&M is not allow them to do the whatever phrases Max wants to use when A&M just throws the ball off the backboard and just gets their own offensive rebound. And as we talked about, what we thought was interesting about that is Missouri's been one of the best in the SEC, and only A&M is better at preventing offensive rebounds so far, right, in SEC play. And so, the 1-2 teams here in that regard, like, so who is going to get the second chance opportunities? Well, it's still, the numbers still tell you that A&M is going to find their way to get, some extra looks. And I think this game could be as simple as that, right? If Missouri is able to limit Texas A&M's extra opportunities, because as we always say, like playing the percentages, right? If you play the percentages and you're just saying, all right, we're going to dare you to beat us from here or there, and we're not going to let you beat us just on the glass. If you do that, I think Missouri's got a great chance to win this game, just because I think you do want to kind of make Texas A&M prove that they can consistently hit jump shots and put them in that position. But like we said, though, it just seems inevitable that both of these teams are going to get to the free throw line. So I think this is one of those where, like, we've talked all year long about how, like, the Missouri offense is just so fascinating watching Caleb Grill do his thing, and you just look at the percentages, top 25 3-point shooting team. They do a good job of taking care of the ball, all that. But, like, I would not be surprised at all if, like, we're talking about this game and we're like, boy, the two defenses, here were the storylines, and this is why the game played out like this, because either Team A didn't let Team B get to the free throw line 35 times, Missouri limited A&M to 8 offensive rebounds, and, all those different things. So Chris said, I think this is one of the more fascinating team matchups we have this season in the SEC, just based on how these two teams play.
Yeah, I get dizzy looking at that page. I mean, just at all the extremes for both teams. And so I'm going to clear my head, and I'm going to go back into stats a little bit, but I'm also going to go into what I watch. And I think, to me, guys, tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like if this is a free-flowing offensive game, that's going to favor Missouri. If it is a muck you up, grind you down kind of game, which even Tennessee couldn't do to Missouri the other night, then I think that's a spot where, in fact, Tennessee held Missouri to 67 possessions. It was a 67-possession game, and Missouri still got 81 points. I feel like the kind of game is going to be important in determining who wins it. Am I overthinking it here, guys? Because I think if you're A&M, you want to make this as ugly as you can without fouling your key guys out.
I think it kind of depends. Does A&M hit their threes? Right? Because if they're hitting their threes, they don't mind going a little bit faster. But if it's 10 minutes into the game, Wade Taylor's already 1 for 6 from 3, and I don't know, maybe someone else tried to hit one. Jace Carter went 0 for 1 or something like that. Then it's gonna be like, okay, guys, shots aren't falling here on the road. We got to go down into Aggie Town and do what we do.
Aggie Land.
I like Aggie
Same
Town.
Thing.
I like
they
Aggie
will.
Town
They will
better.
let you know that's a big thing.
No, I mean, come on. This is Max trademark. He's
No.
not using somebody else's. Okay,
This is
Get outta
called
here.
words fly into head in 0.1 second, and then they come out.
Yeah, come on. This is
We've all done it.
Max gets to use his own phrasing here. Okay, he's not taking anybody else's. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point. I mean, look, A&M's hit what? They hit 12 against Texas, 11 against South Carolina, 52% and 48% from three in 2 of their last 3 games. Look out. If they're shooting like that, there ain't a lot of teams out there that are going to beat them. But, yeah, so I don't know. This is an interesting one.
All right, let's just get into picks and why.
Yeah, so I usually like A&M on the road this year, just because they've proven that besides when that game that Wade Taylor was out, they beat Oklahoma, they beat Purdue on that semi away. I mean, look at how good that win looks now. What was not supposed to beat Ole Miss most certainly did not deserve to win that game, but hey, it was on the road, and they did. They've been good on the road this year. But I just think this is an absolute nightmare matchup for A&M going against Missouri's offense, because A&M's defense says, hey, go ahead and shoot as many threes as you want. Go shoot 1,000,000 threes. Do it, because we're going to do everything we can to get that defensive rebound and limit you to just one. But, hey, we're going to let you go shoot as many times as you want. I just think that's a terrible thing to say to this Missouri offense the way they're shooting right now. I think Grill hits a few shots, but Bates hits a few shots and kind of spreads out the Aggie defense, and it's the Missouri offense on the perimeter that wins this one.
Yeah, Missouri's not lost in Como. I think it gets the kind of game it wants. A&M doesn't really turn it over, but Missouri, when it clamps down on you, can even mess up even some veteran teams time to time in that regard. Just hard for me to see Missouri losing this game. It could, because you said A&M is good on the road. But just what I've seen out of Missouri lately and the way it can get points from so many places, I think the way it can go piece for piece with A&M depth-wise, give me the Tigers.
Yep.
Well, that made this easy then. We all know who I'm picking. Missouri fans aren't going to possibly let me pick them to give them the Southeastern 16 kiss of death. Well, I'd never put that on the Tigers. But I will tell you this. You guys keep saying all this stuff, right? I'm here to tell you that series history is very interesting here. Missouri against Texas A&M has not scored more than 64 points against the Aggies in the last 7 meetings in Columbia, Missouri. They have scored 64 points or fewer in the last 7 meetings between these two teams.
How many of these guys in this game have played all 7 of those meetings?
4 straight wins for Texas A&M in Columbia. Missouri won in 2018, 62-58. Before that, A&M's been a team that's kind of had Missouri's number, is kind of the point here. Yes, Chris, I'm aware that although there are some guys in college who did play probably in that 7th meeting 7 years ago, none of these guys did. There are still some guys probably out there playing in Division I right now who were playing in 2017 or something. But I'm just noting that has seemingly been something that's stood out. And I mean, if you just look at it in the Dennis Gates era, all right, let's use that window, okay?
Okay.
The last 4 games between these two teams, 79-60, A&M won in Columbia, 63-57, A&M won in College Station, 69-60, A&M won in Columbia, 82-64, A&M won in College Station. So Buzz has kind of had this team's number a bit. And I think, again, they're one of those teams really hard to match up against. Come on, again, you know where I'm picking. I'm not picking Missouri. I'm picking A&M. I can't put the Southeastern 16 kiss of death on the Tigers.
Oh, wow.
How does that surprise you? No, how does that surprise you?
It doesn't at all. I thought you might do this just because of the dynamics here.
Listen, no, Missouri fans have told me time and time again, I can't possibly do that to them. And I've done it a couple times this year, and I don't think it's worked out well. So this will be my approach throughout the rest of the season.
I think this might be the first time all season when someone else has picked A&M and I haven't.
Yes, it is, I think.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Separation Saturday, perhaps.
Are you guys still a pick ahead of me? Is that where we are?
Just one.
Max, wouldn't that be something if I move ahead of you in the picks contest by picking Texas A&M and not Missouri? Wouldn't that be something? I'd be picking your squad going against my client. How about that? Wouldn't that be something for the pick'em contest? Wow.
That might break me. That might break the
That's
spirit.
all I need. That's all
Max,
I need.
I'm personally rooting for you here.
Thank you.
Also
Well,
because it helps me.
Just I
If we're being
guaranteed
honest.
that Missouri has a chance by picking Texas A&M, because we all know if I'd have picked Missouri, A&M's
Oh.
going out there and probably winning by 15. So we know how this works. Southeastern 16 kids of death. It's a phenomenon unlike any other. I'll tell you something else phenomenon unlike any other. That's bracket bids. Because
nice.
you can take your college hoops experience to the next level with bracket bids. Enter into that free pick'em contest. Maybe you'll have more luck than Chris Lee's having right now against us in our pick'em contest. Or start an auction draft league with friends, family, or coworkers. Everyone starts with the same bidding dollars. Up to you to outwit and outbid your league mates to secure the teams you think will go the distance. Choose from those multiple scoring models, upset bonuses, reward bold picks. Be bold, just like I was by picking Max's Aggies. Track your teams with live in-game scoring and watch the standings shift in real time. The further your teams advance, the higher you climb the league standings. For league play, use that promo code SC16 for 40% off. SC16, 40% off. Download BracketBids app today or visit them at bracketbids.com.
All right, again, reminder, we're going to be picking all the games. All of them will be in different videos. We will lump a bunch into one and do separate videos for some of the games. To get all that, subscribe to the channel. Only about 40% of you guys who watch these subscribe. If everybody subscribed, boy, our numbers would take a jump, and that helps us out. We got families to feed and all those things that go with being in this business. So do that if you haven't, and hit the like button. Tell a friend. We've also got an audio podcast feed. You can find that where you find your audio podcasts. So subscribe over there. For Max Barr and Blake Lovell, I'm Chris Lee. This has been Southeastern 16's preview and prediction on Missouri and Texas A&M.